At long last, Nurgle is getting a rework. What's changed for the faction of the Plague God? Let's take a look and find out. So first things first, we have plagues. The set list of symptoms are gone. Instead, there's a web of symptoms and the exact placements are randomly generated every 3 plagues. So to create a plague, you select symptoms by choosing 3 that are directly connected on this web. Initially, you can only start from a single symptom, but as you use more, they'll be available to start from for future plagues. Over the course of the campaign, symptoms can become randomly blessed. This boosts their effects but can only be used for a single plague before reverting back to normal. Once 3 symptoms have been selected, you can spend further infections to modify their stats for spread chance, duration, and something new, immunity. This is just the number of turns that non-Nurgle targets will be immune to plagues after this plague expires. Same as before, you can target any of your own armies or settlements for plagues, or create a plague cultist who can use the hero action to spread onto any foreign target. Plague cultists now also cost the same as spreading a plague to your own army or settlement, so it's now a lot more desirable to do this if you're looking to spread to enemies rather than putting on your own army and just hope that it jumps across. We've also seen some changes to cyclical buildings. Cyclical now just applies to military buildings. Infrastructure are normal, and they've also gained a proper garrison building. These are the standard tiers that cost standard amounts of gold, making them much more attractive to build. Military buildings now cost infections to be built. It's 200 for basic military and 400 for advanced. This makes it way more affordable to build these cyclical buildings without bankrupting your faction. The split between gold for infrastructure and infection for military gives you more options and lets you actually build up settlements at a decent rate whilst not being bankrupt. Once you have a cyclical building, you can also rush the cycle for 50 infections for a basic military building or 100 for advanced. But if you don't want to do that, you can be waiting 4 turns per cycle for basic and 6 turns per cycle for advanced. Each cycle stage adds units to the recruitment pool and advances to the next stage. Certain stages are only available at certain settlement tiers. Basic military needs size 3 to get past stage 4, advanced needs size 3 to get past stage 2, size 4 to get past stage 4, and size 5 to get past stage 6. And all of these units get added to the same recruitment pool for the same recruitment system as before. You pick the units you want from the recruitment pool, you then instantly recruit them at low HP, and you don't need to, but realistically, you do need to sit and replenish them for a couple of turns. This is perfect for using with the Pestilent Growth and Holy Manifestation to get them to full health even faster. This is the same as it was before, but with some new effects from Nurgle Corruption, it's a lot easier. At high levels of Corruption, you summon units at increased levels of HP and have a cheaper recruitment cost. This makes Corruption spreading into a high priority for your economy of not just the gold, but the time spent doing nothing. This change to recruitment now makes Nurgle into one of the fastest recruiting and one of the most aggressively expanding factions in the entire game, since it doesn't have to wait for any recruitment costs, and if you have replenishment skills on lords and heroes, you can be waiting maybe 1 turn in your own territory before you're ready to go. The Nurgle army ability has also seen a little bit of a change. It has the same 3 tiers as before for speed and charge reduction that can spread to 5 enemies, healing that can spread to 5 allied units, and damage over time that can spread to 5 enemy units. You now unlock higher tiers from the research tree. The bar now fills up on the side of the screen as more enemy units are affected by status effects like poison, rather than your own units taking damage, because let's be honest, that did kind of suck. And the last thing that's changed is the tech tree. This is now split into 2 sections, faction and military. Faction has buffs to everything not battle related, so we're talking growth, corruption, income, commandments, plagues, and anything else that isn't unit stats. This is laid out much better with the odd infection cost in tech without being too expensive or slowing you down to a crawl. There's no more scrolling for hours, just a little bit either side to get to the very end. Plus, it's laid out like an actual tree. Shout out 3 kingdoms. As for military, pretty much everything here is unit and battle related. Mostly unit stats, with units being split into 3 groups: infantry, large monsters, and small monsters. Each is then split into smaller groups like demonic and non-demonic infantry, or monsters and the Grey Unclean One. But it's all unit buffs that you can unlock as and when you need to get to the unit. Each area also has an infection cost in tech, which are pretty large buffs for characters and the faction as a whole, so are well worth picking up once you can afford to. And that is just about everything that's changed in the Nurgle rework. Let me know what you think of these changes in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and if you want more Thrones of Decay content, then check out this faction guide on Epidemius, the new Nurgle 3LC Lord.